Jackie and Claire, put on your camera. Jeff, put your camera on. George, put on your camera. Mishcha Cruz, put on your camera. Claire, put on your camera. Okay, guys, I'd like you to keep your camera on throughout the entire meeting today. Faith, put on your camera, please. Faith, can you hear me? Okay, Jimmy, go ahead and start with picking someone for the Pledge of Allegiance.
The Pledge of Allegiance will go to, oh, Philip.
Philip? Philip, you're doing the Pledge of Allegiance.
Philip, you're doing the Pledge of Allegiance.
Say again, Philip, we can't hear you. Okay, Philip. All right, Jimmy, pick someone else.
Okay, then. AJ.
AJ.
Signs up. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. For the scout law will go to Tristan.
Signs up. A scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent, too.
The scout oath will go to Joshua.
Scout sign. On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, and to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight, too.
The outdoor code will go to Gab.
Okay, signs up. Outdoor code. As an American, I will do my best to be clean in my outdoor manners, be careful with fire, be considerate in the outdoors, and be conservation minded too.
Okay, guys, thank you. Let me do a quick attendance now. I'll take attendance later today for the people that are late to the meeting. If you do not hear your name when I get to the end, tell me. And also remember, leave your camera on. Faith, I don't see your camera. Okay, the people I have at the meeting are AJ, Jimmy, Gab, Jeff, Philip, Vince, Joshua, Tristan, George. George was here, I don't see him now. Cammie, Ethan. and Max is here now. For the girls, I have Claire, Jackie, Mariah, Faith, and Mischa. Max, turn your camera on. Okay. Faith, do you have a camera or a microphone or anything? Faith. Okay, I'd like to introduce Mr. Jerome today. I believe he's from Manila, and he's going to be your instructor for the next 2 hours. I think after about 1 hour, he's going to let us take a 4 or 5 minute pee break, and then we'll do the Jerome. We're turning it over to you now. Everybody, please pay attention.
All right, Sir Rick, thank you so much for the introduction. I'll be sharing my screen now. Okay, so you hear me loud and clear? You can use the raise hand virtually. You can see it on your taskbars if you are using the desktop and also on the mobile. Okay. All right, so good morning, everyone. And we will be trying to get the Outdoor Ethics Awareness Award for you. Okay, so I will be discussing this one together with Miss Jackie, who's also with us this morning. All right, so let's look at the objectives. So the requirements for this award would be, there are just 5 simple requirements for this one. First would be to recite from memory and explain the meaning of the outdoor code, which I think you're very much familiar with it. Next, to watch the National Park Service Leave No Trace video. We will be watching that video in the following discussion. Next, we need to complete the Leave No Trace online course and to print the certificate. And we will be handing out the certificates after the session. Same with number 4. We need to complete the Tread Lightly online course and then to print also the certificate. And then lastly, would be to participate in an outdoor ethics course, workshop, or training activity. For this morning, we will be discussing the first 3 requirements, and the next Saturday, we will be having requirements 4 and 5. Okay. All right, so the outdoor code, I will just state this, and after the session, I think we can do it individually, an individual recitation of this one. So as an American, I will do my best to be clean in my outdoor manners, be careful with fire, be considerate in the outdoors, and be conservation minded. All right. Let's just watch now the video regarding the Leave No Trace.
More and more people are coming to recreate outdoors every year. The National Park Service has 300 million people each year. If those people were to leave a trace of their visit, the impact to the land would be enormous.
We're leaving such a mark on the land. The integrity of the wildlands is compromised.
Because my responsibility, basically, is also to be a steward of the land, the places that I enjoy, too.
It's a legacy we pass on, and each of us can take care of it no matter where we are.
It's an ethic or an attitude you have towards your surroundings and how you take care of it.
Part of it is having a passion for the wilderness and the backcountry.
It comes down to a very conscious effort of making good judgments, being aware of how you can individually minimize any potential impacts to the land.
Because you know it's nice and you want it to be that way. Wouldn't it be nice for it to be that way for the next person?
Leave No Trace is really sort of thinking about the future, not tomorrow, the day after tomorrow.
Chance to do my part to take care of the outdoors.
Planning ahead and preparing is a really key part to leaving no trace in the backcountry.
If you plan ahead and prepare, and you plan to minimize your impacts.
Even if you have a tremendous land ethic, if you fail to plan your trip properly, can force the most experienced person into making bad decisions.
Because what you do before you leave home will guarantee the success or failure of that particular trip.
When you're traveling in the backcountry, it's very important that you're aware of your surroundings and what you're hiking on.
Whether you're canoeing or backpacking or walking up a trail, you're going to be interfacing with the ground, and that can have some trampling potential.
Vegetation in many of our areas is getting hammered.
Impacts in the outdoors are individual and they're cumulative.
It's not just their footprint, but it's the thousands of prints that will come after them.
We can have a lot of trampling effect where we camp. You know, we have where we cook, we have where we sleep, we have where we maybe put our backpacks. But in general, if we concentrate our use in those durable areas, we will leave no trace.
The ethic is, leave the area better than you found it.
Because it really challenges users to get out there and take everything out that they brought in. To draw the line and say, hey, I brought it, I'm going to take it out with me. Because these wildlands are important enough to me that I can't leave anything.
It was implausible to me almost that people would feel that it was okay to leave the trash there.
Human waste, what we do with it can be one of the biggest impacts that we can make out there. It's a social impact, it can be a disease impact, it can be a water quality impact. All too many of us have seen plenty of toilet paper spread around the backcountry and the stuff that goes with it. One of the principles of Leave No Trace is to leave what you find, and that means that everything that you find out there in the backcountry, whether it's plants and rocks and sometimes artifacts, it needs to stay there. They're part of the historic context, they're part of the natural context of what's going on in the backcountry. And it may look pretty nifty on your shelf at home, but it really belongs in the environment from where it came. That's where it derives its power.
But campfires are a very enjoyable thing. But you really have to think about what are the regulations. And then even if a campfire is allowed, you have to look at soil conditions, fire danger, where is the wood going to come from? If you are going to have a fire, there are several different leave no trace techniques.
Going into the backcountry with the expectation that you're going to enjoy the resource as it is, enjoy the night sky and the night sounds. And just rethink the idea of having a campfire. Is it really necessary, or are there alternatives that you can use to enjoy the nighttime of the areas you're visiting?
All wild creatures deserve a chance to function in a normal, natural way.
This is their habitat. I think we should go to extra measures to be sure that we don't disturb their natural behavior.
And it's well known that feeding animals human-type food can habituate them to human activities, cause them to lose their fear of humans. If any creature loses its fear of humans, it's quite more likely to meet with some sort of ill fate. So it's best to enjoy wildlife at a distance.
What you do not just affects your particular trip, but everybody else who comes.
We need to be conscious of our sound, of our visibility. Most people, when they go in the out of doors, don't do it to see a bunch of folks.
Just because it's the one weekend a year they're taking advantage of that place doesn't mean that every weekend of the year there aren't other people in there.
So to the degree that you can be unobtrusive, to the degree that you can get out of sight of other people and out of sound, that helps us all enjoy the backcountry without the knowledge and the appearance that there are a whole lot of folks visiting at any one time.
Leave no trace is important to me because it helps to maintain the integrity of our wildlands.
Backcountry is pretty real. That's one of the neat things about it. The consequences of our actions are very real.
And that's where Leave No Trace comes in. It tries to heighten an ethic.
Okay, so I think the video is very much self-explanatory. And for the next slides and for the next presentation, we're going to tackle the 7 principles that were stated in the video, the 7 Leave No Trace principles. Okay. By the way, if you have any questions or inquiries or clarifications, if we are discussing a bit fast, you can just virtually raise your hand and we will acknowledge your inquiry. Okay. All right. So the Leave No Trace. So this is an awareness and an attitude rather than a set of rules. It applies in your backyard or local park as much as in the backcountry. We should all practice Leave No Trace in our thinking and actions wherever we go. So as scouts, we should be the first ones to apply this, whether we be in camping or whether we be on hiking or trekking with our family or friends. Let us try to practice this Leave No Trace principles. All right, so the first one is to plan ahead and prepare. So why is this important? We need to plan ahead and prepare. First, we need to know the regulations and the special concerns for the area that you will visit, because sometimes there are certain regulations for that area, and we might not be aware of those things. Next would be to prepare for extreme weather hazards and emergencies. Okay, so this is to avoid danger and other fortuitous events. Next would be, we need to schedule our trips to avoid times of high use. So if you want to enjoy more the camping or hiking or whatever outdoor activity that we are going to do, we can set a schedule for that to avoid a lot of people in that area. Okay, next would be we can also visit in small groups when possible, and we might consider splitting larger groups into smaller groups. Next, we can also repack food to minimize waste. And then we can also use a map instead of trail signs. Although trail signs are good, but if we have the chance to, if we have the chance and the means to bring with us a map and compass, then that would be much better. All right, so next would be travel and camp on durable surfaces. So first, durable surfaces, this includes established trails and campsites, rock, gravel, dry grasses, or snow. Next, we also need to protect riparian areas by camping at least 200 feet from lakes and streams. So riparian areas, these refer to areas near a river or a stream. Okay, so we will do this so that we will avoid risky situations and possible harm, because soft soil can erode. Okay, land or soil near a body of water, they can easily erode. So it might be harmful for us if we're going to camp near those areas. And then also, good campsites are found and not made. Altering a site is really not necessary. Okay, so if there is already an established campsite, if we are going to pitch a tent, okay, and we need to first check if there's already an established area for that one, so we wouldn't disrupt the environment and the surroundings. Okay. Then the next one would be we need to dispose of waste properly. So we need to pack it in and pack it up. Whatever we bring with us, we also bring it back home. Next, inspect your campsite and rest areas for trash or spilled foods. Pack out all trash, leftover food, and litter. Next, when we are going to deposit solid human waste, we can look for provide facilities if there are any, especially in front country, but in back country, usually those facilities are not available. So if there are no available facilities, we can use cat holes. We need to dig 6 to 8 inches deep, at least 200 feet from water, camps, and trails, so that we would avoid contamination, we would avoid the spread of disease, and other things related to those. Next, cover and disguise the cat hole when finished. Okay, you can use any dry leaves or grass in the area. Next, we need also to pack out toilet paper and hygiene products. Do not leave them in the area. Next, to wash yourself or your dishes, carry water 200 feet away from the streams or lakes, and use small amounts of biodegradable soap and scatter strained dishwasher. Again, we are doing these things so that we would avoid contaminating or polluting the surrounding, the area around us. Okay. For principles 4 to 7, we'll have Miss Jackie to discuss this number 4, 5, 6, and 7 principle. Okay, Miss Jackie, can you unmute yourself?
Hello, good morning. Thank you, Sir Jerome. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, so good morning to 485, and before we move forward for the next principle, again, I am Jackie Del Rosario, a venture from Crew 2485, and I know some of you already met me when you had your camp last June. Remember that, guys, and hello again. So the next principle, the fourth leave no trace principle, is the leave what you find. So first, preserve the past, examine but do not touch or take cultural or historic structures and artifacts. Leave rocks, plants, and other natural objects as you find them. Avoid introducing or transporting non-native species, and do not build structures, furniture, or dig trenches. Okay, so when we leave rocks, plants, and other natural objects, we pass the gift of discovery to others. Let's say Sir Jerome went hiking on Mount Apo, and then he gets all the amazing rocks. And I want to go to Mount Apo because I went there last time, and I know that there are unique rocks, and I want to take a picture of them because I want to share it with my friends, my families, or to the social media, my social media friends. So because Sir Jerome got them all, there are no left rocks because he take it all home. So it is better to share the beauty of our nature with everyone who wants to see it. So another thing also is I know some of you can resist when you see a beautiful flower. So I know you want to pick it, but please let us avoid that, and let's avoid taking home souvenirs. So maybe some of you also can't resist carving some of the trees. A good steward does not carve on trees. Okay, so maybe you want to carve your girlfriend's or boyfriend's initial on the trees. Even though it is romantic, it can introduce some viruses and boring pests into the tree's inner core, and it can also damage or even kill the tree. So take note of that, guys. So it is really better to leave what we find. So to leave places as natural as possible. Being a good keeper of the land is finding your joy and sharing it by leaving a place better than you find it. Okay. So for the next principle, you get my point, guys. So am I too fast or can you follow? Okay, so for the fifth principle, minimize campfire impacts. Okay, campfires can cause lasting impacts to the backcountry. Use a lightweight stove for cooking and enjoy a candle lantern for light. Where fires are permitted, use established firings, fire pans, or mode fires. Keep fire small, only use sticks from the ground that can be broken by hand. And burn all wood and coals to ash. Put out campfires completely, then scatter cool ashes. So campfires are an integral part of the camping experience. And me personally, I think camping is not complete without campfire. Do you feel me, guys? So you need to ask yourself first when you make a campfire. So you need to consider that if it is legal, is it safe? Are the conditions right? Is it windy or has it been wet recently? Are there enough natural materials on hand to have a fire responsibly? Those are the things you need to ask yourself before making a campfire. So when making a campfire, make sure when you choose wood, it's already dead. So you want to make sure that it's down on the ground because standing dead trees are great for wildlife and good habitat. So make sure that the sticks that you use are not too thick and actually thin enough that you can break them by hand. So there are only 3 reasons to have a campfire. So number 1, warmth, 2, cooking, and 3, for entertainment. So for warmth and cooking, it can be performed without the need of building campfire. So simply using a backpacking stove can easily generate both heat and allow easy cooking. So also there are other ways to have fire, such as the pan fire or devices like collapsible fire pit. So always remember that even small cooking fires can have really big lasting impacts on the environment. So, well, if you really can't have campfire, there are still alternatives to consider. So you can choose to bring headlamps so that you can still have light at the campsite. So you can also choose to have warm layers in your pack so that you can stay warm on a cool evening. So next, and just like what I said, the campfire is made because you need warmth. So instead, of having a campfire, you can just bring blankets, jackets, and etc. So lastly, you can bring a candle or perhaps just enjoy the beautiful night sky. So make sure that after making a fire, you clean up every trash or materials that's not supposed to be present on the site. We need to be responsible and make sure before we go home, the woods or coal are completely burned down to ash. A tenant in scouting is to leave a place better than you find it, just like what I said a while ago. So, okay, so next, the sixth principle, respect wildlife. Okay, so observe wildlife from a distance. Do not follow or approach them. Never feed animals. Feeding wildlife damages their health, alters natural behaviors, and exposes them to predators and other dangers. Protect wildlife and your food by storing rations and trash securely. Control pets at all times and or leave them at home. And avoid wildlife during sensitive times, mating, nesting, raising young, or winter. So while exploring the outdoors, I know that encountering wildlife can be a unique and often rewarding experience. But there are other ways to appreciate the wildlife. So you can just bring binoculars and uh, observe it from a distance. So um, okay, the next one is that never feed wildlife because feeding wildlife can lead to a number of serious problems, and human food is not healthy for wild animals, and they do not need from humans to survive. So wild animals have specialized diets, and they can become malnourished or die if fed the wrong foods. Okay, so I know that you just want to be kind to the animals, but you need to consider that there are foods that are not healthy for them. So, well, if and also if you happen to bring your own pets, make sure that they also follow. Okay, so make sure that your pets also follow the leave no trace principles. Make sure that your pets are under control, or if not, just leave them at home. Okay. Also, avoid visiting during sensitive periods of time, such as nesting, mating, raising of young, or even during winter. By being aware and just like the first principle, planning ahead for your visit to the outdoors, you can make sure that you can minimize the unnecessary impact on wildlife during sensitive times of the year. Okay, so do you know Roger Jr.? He's the kangaroo character on Tekken, and if you don't want to experience Tekken in real life, you need to avoid triggering the wildlife. So we want each and every person to be able to enjoy the outdoors, and while also recognizing the footprint that we have on the ecological communities that also share this world with us. Okay, so last but not the least, the seventh principle. Be considerate of other visitors. So first, respect other visitors and protect the quality of their experience. Be courteous, yield to the other users on trail. Step to the downhill side of the trail when encountering foxtail. Take breaks and camp away from tails and other and let nature sounds prevail above loud voices and noises. Okay, so people come outdoors all the time to recreate in their own specific way. So some people come to view nature in its natural habitat. So that's why it's important that we don't disturb these guests with excessive noise, under control pets, or damaging natural areas. So there are few ways to limit our noise to not disturb other visitors. So first, we can keep our noise level to a minimum. So next one is another way is if we use our phones, you want to keep the ringers on a minimum or on vibrate. And that way, no one else hears it besides you. Okay. Next, if you're listening to music, listen with headphones and you can listen as loud as you want. So not everyone is a fan of music, or they don't want your taste in music, or they just want a peaceful and quiet trip. So let's be considerate. So be sure to make space for other visitors on trails. In that way, you can both pass. Okay. So it is one of the most important components of other ethics, and we need to maintain courtesy toward other visitors. Okay. So it helps everyone enjoy their outdoor experience, and we need to be respectful to others at all times. Okay, so that's the seven principles of Leave No Trace, and I hope you learned a lot. So, Sir Jerome.
Okay, thank you very much, Jackie, for the presentation and the discussion. Okay, so we're gonna run through again the 7 principles. All right. Okay. So again, the first one would be we need to plan ahead and prepare. And as discussed earlier, this is this may be very vital part of your trip outside. Okay. Then we need to travel and camp on durable surfaces. That would be the second principle. We need to dispose of waste properly to avoid contamination and pollution. Next, we need to leave what we find so that others might enjoy it also. Next, we need to minimize campfire impacts, and if it's unnecessary to make a campfire, instead you may use other gadgets or tools instead for light and warmth. Next, we need to respect wildlife. We do not need to disturb the usual behavior and the surrounding of the animals in the area. Next and last would be to be considerate of other visitors. Okay, so the area is not just for you, so let us also let others enjoy the trip, the site, and the view. Okay, so those are the 7 principles. I think Sir Rick has instructed this one in the past few days. So if you have any outdoor picture, now is the time that you can share it with the group, and how you can also explain how you intentionally practice the outdoor code. Okay, so it might be intentional or intentional. Okay, so I will stop sharing my screen right now, and you can virtually raise your hand if you want to present first, or yeah, anyone wants to go first for our sharing portion. Anyone? You have any pictures that you can share with us? All right. Anyone? All right, AJ. Can you unmute yourself and tell us about that picture?
This picture's in Cabanatuan.
Okay.
Corregidor, I meant.
Yeah, we can see it.
There's and I also have another room that's in Jimmy's house.
All right. So can you tell us something about the picture and how you practice the outdoor code, or possibly any of the 7 principles of the Leave No Trace? You can pick, yeah.
Corregidor left no trash.
All right. You left no trash. Okay, so that's good. Anyone else who would like to share their camping or outdoor experience with a group? Anyone would like to? You can virtually raise your hand so that we'll see it. Vincent, do you have any picture you might want to share with the group?
Oh, actually, that's very funny that you asked because I just found one photo that could be a good sign. That if I could just share my screen. Okay, no, never mind.
Sure.
Let's see. Okay. Can I use the share screen?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Okay. It says that the host disabled
Oh,
participants.
I'm not the host at the moment.
I just fixed it.
All right, thank you, thank you.
Oh, there you go. All right. Here, here's one photo. To give you a little context, this is our survival camp in Subic back then. This was conducted back in 2019. So we were in Jess camp. So as you would see in the photo, I would do admit we may have not practiced effectively leave no trace, right? Because we've used bamboos, as you can see right here, as to build my structure. So at least I could have taken a different approach, like at least use some sort of a bigger tree, because at least a tree won't be moving as much as like that, not like this. So if you've studied your area quite a bit, to be honest, I kind of rushed this one because it was actually raining when I was building this. So if you took quite some time, maybe not too much time, but if you took some time in your camp out, if you're in the middle of the forest and you don't have a tent with you, but you just have like some sort of shelter materials, you can look for a tree, just tie a rope there, put your tarpaulin there, right? In your you eventually, if we can schedule, we might be able to go to this place where we did our survival camp. You'll get to learn more about leave no traces, right? You get to learn more about the how to dispose of waste properly, since there are no facilities out in the middle of the forest. How you could uh, interact with wildlife, do not approach them, but if ever they approach you, there are different stories there, and so on and so forth. But this is the photo that I uh, can elaborate more about leave no trace. So let's see. Yes.
All right, so thank you, Vincent, for that one. Okay, so Vincent has oh yeah, Misha. Okay, I'm seeing you. And
So this picture was during our day camp very recently, and we practiced deep note trace through through uh, keeping the tent after we use it, and we burned our campfire to ashes and extinguish it before we left. And we threw our trash all in the bin, and that's all.
okay, all right, that's good. All right, thank you, Misha. Okay, so we have others who would like to share their outdoor experience and how they practice the no trace principles. All right, Maria, I see you raising your hand.
Here's my picture. I'm not sure. And here it was during a camp out, and we camped on a designated campsite. And another is here you can see we're doing like an activity. And we did pack up afterwards. We did not like leave any of those there. So we made sure to dispose it properly. And yes, that's
All right, that's good. Thank you. Thank you, Maria, for that picture. Okay, so anyone? Okay. Anyone would like to share with us your outdoor experience? Since we really cannot do it right now due to the situation, but hopefully in the near future we can have an outdoor activity as soon as possible. Okay. Right? Anyone who would like to share their outdoor experience? Okay. Are there any takers? All right. I think we can just have the last one. If there is still anyone who would like to share their outdoor experience. Mhm. Okay, Miss Jackie, can you share with us some if you have any pictures with you?
So sorry, I don't take pictures on camp.
Yeah, you don't take pictures.
But I
Alright.
make sure that I follow the leave no trace principle. Especially, I am one of the leaders of that my crew here in the PSP. So I want them to follow the rules so that we can go back again and with no judgment from for the from them. So that's it.
All right, thank you, Jackie, for sharing that outdoor experience with us, even though you have no picture. But I think everyone has got the clear image in their minds. Okay. All right. So right now we just need to recite individually the outdoor code. I think this is very easy for you guys, and it won't take much time. So we can do it individually. Miss Jackie, can you track on the persons who are going to recite this outdoor code? Can you have I think there is a list in our other group chat. Can you use that for tracking those who can memorize and recite the outdoor?
Okay, sir.
All right, thank you. You can just call names randomly, I think. I think they already know that. Okay, so as scouts, we need to be trustworthy. I think you can easily memorize the outdoor code without looking on your computer screens or on your phones. Okay. All right. Anyways, if you cannot comply that requirement today, we can also do it next Saturday. But to maximize our time and to be more productive, I think we can do this right now if you are ready. Okay. So before Miss Jackie calls somebody, is there anyone who would like to go first? All right, Tristan, I saw your hand. Okay.
As an American, I will be
All right.
As an American, I'll be clean in my outdoor manners, be careful with fire, and be considerate in the outdoors, and be conservation minded.
All right. Thank you very much, Tristan. And I saw that you did your best on not looking on the screen. Okay. Jonathan. Okay, Jonathan.
Okay. They'll leave no trace. Plan ahead and prepare.
No, John, you're supposed
supposed to recite the outdoor code.
Yes.
Okay. No.
You can come back later, John. Let others do it.
Okay.
All right. We'll call you again later. Next would be Gab. I think it was you who was raising.
Yeah.
Okay, you can go now.
Outdoor code. As an American, I will do my best to be clean in my outdoor manners. Be careful of fire, be considerate in the outdoors, and be conservation minded too.
All right. So thank you, Gab, for that one. Next would be Miss Jackie. I hope you're tracking the scouts who are reciting the outdoor code. All right. 2 participants raise your hand. Wait, I couldn't see that. Oh, where are you? All right, Gio. Joshua Sorio.
As an American, I will do my best to be clean in my outdoor manners, to be careful with fire, to be considerate in the outdoors, and to be conservation minded too.
All right, thank you, Joshua, for that one. Next, Ethan. Oh, sorry. Yeah. All right. I don't think Vincent knows this one. Just kidding.
I
Right,
don't know this one.
Vincent.
See, I've kind of cheated my way, so I'll try. All right. So as an American, I'll do my best to be clean in my outdoor manners, to be careful with fire, to be considerate in the outdoors, and to be conservation minded.
All right. Thank you. Okay. Next, if you're done, you can just lower your hands. You can just click the icon again. Okay. Next, Austin.
As an American, I'll do my best to be clean in my outdoor manners, to be careful with fire, to be considerate in the outdoors, and to be conservation minded too.
All right, thank you. Next would be Maria.
As an American, I will do my best to be clean in my outdoor manners, be careful with fire, be considerate in the outdoors, and conservation minded.
All right, thank you. Next would be Madison, right here.
As an American, I will do my best to be clean in my outdoor manners, be careful with fire, be considerate in the outdoors, and be conservation minded.
All right, thank you. Next would be who else? Philip. Is your mic okay? Is it working right now? All right.
Yeah, do you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay. As an American, I'll do my best to be clean in my outdoor manners, to be careful with fire, and be considerate in the outdoors, and be conservation minded.
All right. Next would be AJ.
As an American, I'll do my best to be clean in the outdoor.
You can do it.
As an American, I'll do my best to be clean in my outdoor manners, be careful with fire, be considerate in the outdoors, and be conservation minded.
Okay. Next would be Misha.
As an American, I'll do my best to be clean in my outdoor manners, be careful with fire, be considerate in the outdoors, and be conservation minded.
Okay. Next, Jimmy.
As an American, no.
You can do it.
As an American, I'll do my best to be clean in my outdoor manners, to be careful with fire, to be considerate in the outdoor, and be conservation minded.
Okay. Next, Max.
As an American, I'll do my best to be clean in my outdoor manners, to be careful with fire, be considerate in the outdoors, and be conservation minded.
All right. Thank you, Max. Then John, are you now ready for to recite the outdoor ethics, outdoor code?
No, I'm not ready.
All right, it's fine. You have till next Saturday to do that. Okay, so is everybody called? Are we all done with reciting the outdoor code? Right, is there anyone who's still not memorized or recited the ethics, except for John, of course?
Ethan or Cam, excuse me.
All right.
Ethan or Cammy, are you guys ready?
Ethan's done already. Somebody's raising their hand.
Jerome, Cammy is ready to do it.
All right, sir. All right, Cammy, you can now do the requirement.
As an American, I will do my best to be clean in my outdoor manners, be careful with fire, be considerate in the outdoors, and be conservation minded.
Okay, thank you. So Jefferson, are you done?
No, sir.
All right, so do you want to go now?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
As an American, I will do my best to be clean in my outdoor manners, to be careful with fire, to be considered in the outdoors, and to be conservation minded too.
Okay, so anyone else who has not recited the outdoor ethics code? Okay, so I think all of you are done with that requirement. So thank you so much. And you're not just supposed to memorize it, but to apply it when you go outdoors, when we do outdoor activities, when we camp, and when we hike, when we trek. Okay, so do not forget that one. All right, so is there anything else in the presentation for a while? Just check. Okay, so after the session, we will present to you this certificate. I will just read the citations for this one. So Leave No Trace, online awareness. So this certificate is awarded to for successful completion of the online awareness workshop, Leave No Trace. Take action to protect the outdoors. Okay, so I will leave in the message box the sites where you can study more, or if you want to learn more about Leave No Trace, I will leave it. I will leave the web link in the chat box. I'll do it right now. And also for the other references, probably you want to visit again the video, and I'll also leave it in the message box. All right, so okay, so you can check the chat box right now for the links. And then for the application form, I'll just show it to you guys. Okay. All right, so can you see my screen right now? So we need to accomplish this one. You can have it printed out, or if you can do it online or in the computer. If you can fill up the form in the computer, then that would be fine also. Just need to put the name, your council, the address, city. I would also leave the link on the chat box. Okay. Okay. That one. Okay, so this is for the Outdoor Ethics Awareness Award. Okay, so you just need to check that one. Then the applicant signature, unit approval. Okay. So if you understood the instructions, kindly raise your hands virtually. Okay. So if you understood the instructions about filling up the form. All right, thank you, Philip. Anyone else? All right, Joshua, Madison. All right, AJ, thank you. Vincent, thank you. All right. So, Max, did you understand the instructions? That we need to fill up the form for us to be able to get this award.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Anyone else can virtually raise your hand? Okay, how about you, Austin? Claire, Faith, Gab, Jimmy, Jefferson, Misha, Tristan. Okay. All right, so okay, then I'll present another one again. Having technical problem right now. Taskbar. Here we go. I'll share my screen again. All right, so you can now lower your hands and after sharing time. Okay, so actually this is just a very, very short session. And this would be the end of the first part, and hope to see you again next Saturday. So after the session, after we finish everything else, for requirements 4 and 5, which will be done on July 17. After that, we will present to you the Leave No Trace certificate and also the Tread Lightly certificate. All right. So again, the references, if you did not check yet the chat box, it's also here. Okay, so are there any questions or are there any clarifications regarding the topic for today?
No question, but I'd like to say on behalf of our group, Jerome and Miss Jackie, you guys did a really great job today with this presentation. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you to Sir Rick for the opportunity to lead this discussion and the achievement of this award.
I'd like to remind the boys to stay online after you're completed. We've got about 5 minutes of admin stuff to go through.
Right, that would be fine, sir. So if there aren't any more questions or clarifications, can Miss Jackie take a quick snapshot or a picture? Is it possible? Miss Jackie?
Yeah, okay.
All right, thank you.
So, can you all open your cameras so we can take a photo? Misha and Faith. Okay, so okay, well, let's take a photo. Okay, so 1, 2, One more, guys. One, two, three. Okay, thank you.
All right. I think we're done. And thank you again. So I'll be giving the floor to Sir Rick for the further announcements.
Thank you, Mr. Jerome. All of the people in 485G, you can go ahead and sign out if you have no questions. Okay, for 485B, go ahead and let's put our screen share up. I'll try and make this quick, guys. I know. Okay, guys, here's a reminder of what we're going to be doing the next few weeks. And the reason I'm telling you this is I don't want you to memorize it, but I want you to see that the way we have it scheduled out, you should be finishing your second class by August 28th. If you haven't done your community service and you haven't finished your physical training yet, you need to get busy. What we have scheduled right now is next week, outdoor ethics. After that, you're going to give me the findings on your comparison shopping. The next time on July 31, we'll have an online safety class for rifle marksmanship. August 7th and 8th are the tentative dates for camp out. And that will probably be at El Caballo. On August 14th and August 21, you guys will have a chance to shoot BB guns to qualify for the Rifle Merit Badge. And it's going to be first come, first serve for the folks that want to earn that merit badge. During the week of 21 through 27 will be a board of review, also a Scoutmasters conference, and then tentatively August 28th, the Court of Honor. So if you haven't kept up with all the things you need to do, please step it up and get those things finished. Next slide. Okay, number of physical training sessions. Cami, how many do you have now?
Um, 16.
16, great. Max, how many do you have?
20.
Also 16.
All right, good, Max. Okay, community service. On this slide, you'll see down the right-hand corner, what AJ and Tristan did is they got together and Erica was their mentor and they made a Save the Planet poster. They made 2 copies of it and hung them at the gates at TMOG for their community service. They spent about an hour working on the slogans, planning what they wanted to say and what the layout was going to be. And then another day, they had their photo taken to make the poster. And then finally, on another day, they went and hung up the posters at the 2 gates at TMOG Park. So that's just an idea for you. If you want to do that at your subdivision, you're welcome to steal that idea and do it and get it done. Next slide, please. Okay, this is what we did today. Next slide.
Like that.
Well, the streets are always clean then.
All right, you got a certificate today, and then
trucks out there.
Next week there'll be another certificate that you'll qualify for, and you'll get this outdoor ethics badge. I'm not sure if you'll get it immediately. It will probably be at the Court of Honor when you get that badge, and you can wear that badge on your right pocket. Next slide. Okay, we've already been through the class. Do I have any questions or comments from any of the 485B guys? Ethan, you have a problem? I mean, a question, Ethan? Any question, Ethan? You sure? You got other things you want to do today, I guess. All right, Jimmy, would you go ahead? What? Vince, what can I do for you?
All right. I'm currently I'm currently taking the Leave No Trace online training. So and I will soon be filling up the forms. So the concern is, assuming that I'll be able to finish all the online paperwork, will I be sending it online or via email, or will there be a session where where I would give out the files?
I'm not sure I understand your question.
Oh, okay. So, um, about the certificates, right? So, I'm currently taking the Leave No Trace online training. So once I completed it, most likely I'll be getting my certificate that I have completed the Leave No Trace training, and the what do you call this, like the application form, was it, Jerome?
Yes,
The
yes.
one that the longer one. So I'll be filling up that soon. And once I completed those two files, will I be sending them via email to either you, Sir Richard, or Sir Jerome? Or will there be another procedure where we would be getting all the certificates?
You can send them to me, Vince, and ultimately, I guess it'll end up with Ed to be entered in Scout Book, but you can send it to me to start with, and I'll send it along with my attendance rosters and all that stuff.
Okay, okay, got it. Thank you.
Any more questions? Joshua, do you have a question?
Yes, sir. For the form, the application, what will the award be? What will we check?
There's 3 blocks on that application form. By the time you finish next week, you will have checked all 3 blocks. And that, along with the attendance here, you'll get your certificate. So if you don't know what block right now to do, it'll all be taken care of by next week. I don't have the form here in front of me to tell you. Sorry. Any more questions?
Send it to me. What's the question? Tell Sir I can't hear you.
What?
Gab said something to me.
Any more questions? Okay, if there's no more questions, Jimmy, go ahead and do the closing ceremony for the meeting, please.
Gab, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I took my headphones off.
Oh, so do you have any questions?
No.
Okay.
Okay, Jimmy, go ahead.
Everybody unmute your mic. Okay. May the Great Scout Master
Scouts may be with us
until we
meet again.
True
Four,
485
5.
dismissed.
Bye,
Okay,
sir.
guys, thank you. See you next week.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.